So for this week, we have quite a few topics. And they're all relatively short. The properties and records is going to be the longest, but properties is a review. So we are going to take a look at the web readings. And I did put multiple sources in here. So you don't really need to read from all of these. So, if you go through tutorials teacher and you understand what indexers is, great. If you don't, then I would look at another source. But this does include everything that we are going to be talking about this week. Okay. And then you are going to go through properties and records. Let me get rid of some of these. Here we go. So we have 4 different sections, but as I said, most of them are not that long. Properties and records is a bit of a review. There is a video that goes through and explains everything. Properties we have worked with before, so it's just kind of reminding you about auto-implemented and regular property syntax. And so if you feel pretty comfortable with that, you can move on to records, which is new. We have not talked about records. And we really haven't talked about mutability. So I would make sure that you read through that section and read through the property summary so that you understand everything. And then we get into records. And this is new information. We have not talked about it before. And so this explains what a record is and the 2 different ways of coding it. And records are actually designed to use immutable data. So once you assign the data, it's really not meant to be changed. Okay, so lots of examples here on creating records. And then the next lecture demo is on indexers, which an indexer is a special field that is in a class or a structure. And so this is not a super long lecture demo, but it does give you several examples to look at so that you understand what an indexer is and how to create one. And more importantly, when they are used. And then we get into generics. And I honestly love generics because you can create a generic class, a generic interface, and you basically are kind of making up the name for a data type, and it can take the place of all different data types. So I like it. I think it's super cool. If you have a situation like this, where you've got an overloaded method, and the only thing that is different is the data type that you are passing. This is a perfect example of where a generic method would be super useful, because instead of coding 3 different methods, you could code one. And where the data type goes, that is where you put in this generic data type. Okay, so this actually is the example of the generic method that replaces these 3. So it's really a powerful tool once you know how to use it. Okay, so this explains, we start with methods, but it also explains how to create a generic class. So once you guys get done with the generics, and of course there is a video that explains all of this, then you're going to move on to file input and output. I've created a video that will be linked in here as well. And there's a lot of different file handling classes, and we take a look at a couple of them. We look at the file class, which has static methods. And then we look at stream reader and stream writer, which is a class that requires you create an object and then use the object to call the methods. Okay, so we're looking at a couple different ways of creating files and quite a few of the methods that are used with file handling. Okay, so that is what we're going to be taking a look at this week. Understanding check is going to kind of test your knowledge on these areas. And again, you can take it an unlimited number of times until you get everything right. For the lab assignment, I have created a video that will be linked in here as well. And you can watch that video because it does go through every exercise and tells you exactly what you should do. But the exercises, we have 5, but they are all pretty short. This is going to be a very small program. So is exercise 2 and exercise 3. Even exercise 4, those programs that you create are going to be short. Exercise 5 will be longer, but I've kind of given you a little template that you can copy and paste, and then we'll make modifications to this. So you probably are going to want to watch that video that I created on the assignment because you will know exactly what you need to do for every single one of these exercises. Okay. And once you are done with those lab assignments, make sure you get them all up on GitHub. And then in the Dropbox here, you can either just type done or you can, let me go to the right one. You can type done or you can put a link to your main repository because I should be able to access everything from there. As far as additional resources, if the readings weren't and the lecture demos were not enough, I did include some additional resources for you as well. If you have questions or if you run into problems this week, please let me know and have an awesome week.